他的行为。
If you're someone who loves survival situations and the unpredictability in zombie films, or the chaos of post-apocalyptic worlds and enemies that are brutal and merciless, then this video is for you. Today we brought you 10 zombie films and TV shows from across the world that will genuinely blow your mind. By the way, if you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We will bring you the best movie and TV show recommendations from across the world. Let's start the list with the most obvious pick. Train to Busan. I'm assuming most of you have already seen it, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it. I want to quickly move to the lesser-known zombie films. But if you're someone who still hasn't watched Train to Busan, you should start your zombie journey with this movie. It's one of the greatest zombie films ever made. ELIXIR. This one is a very new addition to the list. It's an Indonesian horror film that recently released on Netflix. The story follows a broken family who are already in the middle of a huge dispute regarding the sale of their herbal medicine company. At the same time, the elderly father secretly tests a new experimental drug, a formula that promises youth and rejuvenation. But that one decision becomes a disaster. The drug backfires, and it triggers a zombie outbreak. The infection starts right there, inside the house, and then slowly spreads across the entire city. Personally, I really liked this film, but for some strange reason, it's rated surprisingly low. Either way, it's currently streaming on Netflix, and it's definitely worth checking out.
何が起きている？都内では火災や事故が相次いで発生していますが。誰？私もどうしてください。特別対策。ウイルスで人格崩壊。早急にこれ。もしもあんたがこの子と一緒に逃げるっていうならここを出よう。生き残る。ふざけんな。このヤバい世界でこの男は。
I am a hero. This film is adapted from a popular manga. The story follows a manga artist who is weak, soft-natured, and considered a failure by the people around him. But everything changes when a strange virus spreads, and people start turning into zombies. In the middle of this chaos, he meets a girl and promises her that he will protect her no matter what. And from there, the journey begins. How does this ordinary, timid man transform from a zero into a hero? That is what this entire film is about. Sadness. This one takes a very different approach to the zombie genre. Technically, it's not a traditional zombie film, but it absolutely carries the DNA of one. This Taiwanese horror movie begins with a virus outbreak in the city. But unlike normal zombie behavior, the infected here do not start eating people. Instead, they turn into violent, uncontrollable maniacs. Once they get infected, they lose all empathy. They just grab anything they can use as a weapon and start attacking everyone they see. At one point, it literally feels like the entire city has turned into a nightmare, where every person is a threat to every other person. In the middle of this chaos, a young couple has to somehow reunite and survive this outbreak. This is easily the most extreme and disturbing film in this entire list. Kabaneri of the Iron Fortress. This is the only anime in this entire list. I'm someone who is obsessed with zombie stories. I've watched most zombie movies and series already, so I kept searching for more. And that's how I discovered this anime. It's a short series, just 12 episodes, but it steps into a territory that mixes zombies with a touch of fantasy. The story takes place in a post-apocalyptic world where humanity has almost collapsed. The infected here are called Kabaneri, basically zombie-like creatures. A small group of survivors travel from station to station in a huge armored train, trying to stay alive and stay ahead of the infected. But when one of the stations gets overrun by Kaban, our main character gets attacked and ends up becoming a rare hybrid, half human, half Kaban. How he deals with this new identity and how the survivors fight back forms the core of the story. The most fascinating part of this anime is the world building. It feels unique, stylish, and very different from any normal zombie content you usually see. Alive. Most people who watch Korean zombie films only talk about Train to Busan and ignore this hidden gem. But trust me, #Alive is just as good. The premise itself is very interesting. There is a zombie apocalypse happening outside, but our lead doesn't know anything about it. He is locked inside his apartment, eating, sleeping, and playing games completely unaware of what's happening in the outside world. But after some time, he finally wakes up to realize that the city and the whole apartment building has turned into zombies. Now the question becomes, how does he survive? And how does he escape this situation? That forms the core of this film. It's unique, gripping, and absolutely perfect for binge watching. It's currently streaming on Netflix. One Cut of the Dead. If you are in the mood for some crazy comedy horror, you must watch One Cut of the Dead. The story itself is very unique. A small crew begins shooting a low-budget zombie film. All the actors are wearing zombie makeup. And right during the shoot, a real zombie outbreak begins. Real zombies start invading the set. At first, the cast thinks they are just background actors who are improvising. But slowly they realize this is not acting anymore. The concept sounds simple and weird. But trust me, the way it is executed is mind-blowing. This movie turns into one of the most creative, funniest, and craziest comedies ever made. It is an absolute banger.
Yeah. 잡아!
준기가 왜 학교에 나와? 영화에 나와야지.
All of Us Are Dead. A school teacher secretly experiments on rats, combining DNA from different animals. But when one schoolgirl gets bitten by that experimental rat, it turns into a deadly virus, and the infection spreads insanely fast. Soon, the entire city goes into lockdown. The military even plans to bomb the whole place just to stop the outbreak. But inside the school, there are still survivors. Now a group of students must fight their way through zombies, betrayal, fear, and heartbreak, and escape to the outskirts before the bombing begins. How they survive, who dies, who sacrifices who. That becomes the emotional core of this K-drama. This became insanely popular worldwide. And Season 2 is confirmed for 2026. It's available on Netflix, and it's an absolute must-watch.
Señora.
Y nos van a seguir diciendo que no pasa nada.
¡Oye, tú deja de grabar de una puta vez, joder!
Por otro lado, ha ocurrido algo inesperado. Puede contagiarse.
Vamos a salir de aquí por mis cojones.
Reek. This Spanish zombie horror film is shot in a found footage style, which makes everything feel raw, real, and extremely creepy. The story follows a female TV reporter who is filming a normal, casual segment, covering the everyday routine of firefighters. In the middle of the shoot, they receive a distress call. She and her cameraman join the firefighters and enter an apartment building. But inside, there is a zombie outbreak. The building gets sealed off. No escape. Everything is captured by the camera. The way the horror unfolds and the jump scares. This is what makes REC one of the greatest Spanish horror films ever made. It also has 3 sequels, and it's an absolute must-watch for all horror fans.
조악조의 반응이 크게 달해주십시오.
Kingdom. If not the best, this is definitely one of the greatest zombie thrillers ever made. And unlike most zombie stories, this one isn't modern. It is set in ancient Korea. The story begins with the emperor's death. Normally, the crown should pass to the prince, but to hold on to power, the queen uses a mysterious parasite that reanimates the dead king, turning him into a zombie. She tells the public he is just sick, while secretly controlling everything. But the infection spreads from the king to a servant, and then all across the kingdom. Now the prince must fight 2 wars at once, political conspiracies and a zombie outbreak threatening his entire nation. This is honestly one of the best zombie series ever made. Just 12 episodes, streaming on Netflix. Please watch all the movies we suggested, and if you enjoyed our recommendations, come back and subscribe. Together, let's break the 1-inch barrier of subtitles. We are Non-Hollywood, your one-stop destination for movie and TV show suggestions from across the globe. See you in the next video.